Hey guys, welcome back to Moon Acres. As promised, I'm making a video on kind of the planting stages of starting seeds and starting our garden. This is how we do it here. It's a kind of tried and true method that I've used for the last few years, and I really like it. As you get going and understand your garden, understand kind of your processes and needs, you'll develop your own method. But just because I like to hear myself talk, I'm going to talk about our method here today. So the first thing, the key point, is going to be grid paper. With grid paper, you can conquer the world. I've built breweries on this stuff. I've built gardens, our big old shed out there, everything and anything. I love grid paper because you can keep things to scale, and it gives you a really good idea of what you're working with. So for us, we already have our gardens built, but when I planned these, before we did build them, I did it on this grid paper. So it really works great just for keeping things to scale and keeping it sane. So since we already know the size of our gardens, we plugged that in here and drew those out. Our gardens are 24 by 4 foot wide, except for these little guys that are 8 by 4 down in the corner. So I figured out how to scale those down and what that equaled out here in a drawing, and put them on there as such. Basically, each block equals a foot. So from there, I broke down each bed into sections. They are 4 foot by 4 foot sections. And we've kind of figured out that a 4 foot by 4 foot section provides a pretty good amount of food for that particular vegetable, whatever it may be, for us to eat and then also preserve just for personal use. So that's how we started this garden off last year, and that helps us to kind of keep things relative as we understand whether we want to do more or less of what we did last year. So where maybe we did 1 4 foot by 4 foot section and we wanted more, now this year we'll do 3, like say with the sugar snap peas and the beets that we have here as well. So just putting things in visual helps out a whole lot. And then when you organize them, just make a little list of each bed and write each thing out there, and that's going to give you a place to start. So this is sort of the brainstorming, or even more so than that, just narrowing it down and figuring out how you really want to do this. Now, in reality, I don't think that we've ever actually followed these plans 100%, but it's given us a really good place to start, and helps to keep things organized and just to give you a better visual of what the footprint of what you're planting looks like. So for us, I've got a couple example starters here. We're going to start off with our radishes. We're planting a lot of radishes in this spring garden because radishes like kind of the colder weather. They grow really fast and they're very easy and low maintenance. The first place to start for reference on how long it takes your seeds to get going and what to really do with them is going to be on the packet itself. That's probably the most specific source of information. So on the front, you may have a description, and then on the back you have different little sections of the temperatures for germination and the time and all that kind of stuff. So this one says it takes about 22 days, and it says thin the plants to about 1 inch to 2 inches, but that we want to direct sow these instead of trying to start them in a seed tray. So yeah, that's pretty good. 22 days. They like cold weather. We can plant them before the last frost date. So really, we're going to plan on these for probably, let's see, our last frost date is the 2nd of April. So 22 days before that, what would that be? That's going to be into March. So we may plant these actually mid-February just because they're a cold hardy type of plant. So on my list, I'm going to find all my radishes and I'm going to write DS for direct sow, and then I'm going to put mid-February to mid-March, so I can succession plant these, and that way I've got crops that are maturing kind of in different steps. They're not all maturing at once. So I can plant some, wait 10 days or 2 weeks or whatever, plant some more, and basically offset them like that. All right, so we'll write that in there. Next, we've got our beets, okay? For our beets, so 3 to 4 weeks before the last frost, okay? Last frost, again, is 2nd April, so a month before that is going to be the 2nd of March. So we'll find our beets here. We've got March 2nd, direct sow, okay? So those will go straight into the ground there. Our sugar snap peas, now these are a little bit different, okay? Because these are going up on a trellis. They can be very close together, and I don't have much information on this pack except for that there's about 75 seeds in there. So let's look up our sugar snap peas in our reference book here. The one that I'm using comes from the Old Farmer's Almanac, and it's the, if you can see it, the Vegetable Gardener's Handbook. I love this book because it tells you kind of just some general stuff on each type of vegetation or each different type of plant that you might want to plant, and it's very easy to use but still pretty thorough. So peas, okay. All right, so for peas it says lots of stuff here. All right, sow them about 1 inch deep and 2 inches apart, and do not thin them because they're going to grow up the trellis. And then there's some other good stuff in here too about if it was fall, so on and so forth. But for us right now, I'm just trying to find out the spacing, which is going to be 2 inches apart, and it's going to be 4 to 6 weeks before the last spring frost. So again, we'll say March 2nd, just to put it at that 4-week mark while we're out there planting our beets. So we'll keep doing this. If I don't have it on the, if I don't have the information I need on the seed packet, if I can't find it in a book or another book or a different book, then I'll Google it as well. And basically just go through here, and I'm really just filling out what my game plan is, when I need to do what, and making this way simple so that I'm not missing deadlines, because the whole thing with planting and gardening is sort of staying one step ahead of the power curve. So if you are starting to get relaxed, you should actually be a little bit worried that you might be neglecting something. So planning is key. Like I said, I love the grid paper. I love having a few different reference materials and then just writing stuff out into nice, neat little lists and organizing it. And if you vary from what you planned, hey, that's awesome. That's probably going to happen regardless. And just be flexible, but at least understand that this is giving you a general frame of what you want to do, and helping you to figure out how many seeds you need to start, how many seed trays that accounts to, when you need to start them, and when you need to get those out into the garden, so on and so forth. So hopefully that helps your sanity level, and you'll figure out your own process. But just go through and do this stuff. It will save you so much time and energy so that you're not recreating the wheel every single time you go out there. And the best part is that you have a good set of notes for when you're planning next year's garden or the year after that. You can look back and remember, hey, what was that one thing I had in that spot that did really good, or that I started too early or started too late or whatever. You've got this whole set of notes right here. So save all this stuff because it's super valuable. But hopefully that helps. Share this, like us, follow us, do all that good stuff. Hopefully you're enjoying your evening too. This is work best done over a cold beer. Cheers. Hope y'all have a good night. We'll see you later. Bye.